Welcome to another part of my World Cup preview series. Right now we're going to talk about Algeria, team in Group C. They're in Group C along with Slovenia, USA, and England. Algeria, of course, a team that qualified from Africa. They're a North African team. Lately we've been blessed with Tunisia, usually from that part of the world, the last few World Cups. But Tunisia never really did anything at the World Cup. They had a few first round exits, so now Algeria gets a shot again. So it's always nice to have a little variety. So let's see what they can bring to the table. Algeria was at the World Cup twice before, two first round exits. The last time was in 1986 in Mexico when they got one draw and two losses. Yeah, and so they're here again, giving it another shot. Algeria has been, a decent team in Africa for a long time, but they never quite could make it to the World Cup in the 90s and the past decade. But lately they've been getting better. Earlier this year, they were fourth in the African Cup of Nations. It's quite a good result, and they also managed to qualify as one of the best teams ahead of Tunisia for this World Cup. So they're on a high. They're doing well for their standards. And let's see. Let's have a look at the team now. I don't know all the players of this team. It's quite unfamiliar to me, but a few players do stand out. At the back, you've got Majid Bouguera of Rangers. He's a good defender. We also have Nadir Belhaj of Portsmouth, and Antar Yaya of Bochum in Germany. These are decent defenders. So at the back, I would expect them to be, respectable. Midfield, the captain is Yazid Mansouri, who plays for Lorient in France. In fact, a lot of the players are actually sometimes born, but at least raised in France, but of Algerian descent. Of course, the most famous player of Algerian descent was, of course, Zinedine Zidane. Fortunately for Algeria, he didn't opt to play for Algeria, but instead played for France. But yeah, a lot of players actually also had the French nationality, play for this team. Furthermore in midfield, Mehdi Lassine, who plays for Racing Santander, might be familiar with him. And of course the big guy, the big name, the number 10. Well, he doesn't play with number 10, but he's a number 10 player, Karim Ziani, who plays for Wolfsburg in Germany, big team, and before that played for Olympique Marseille in France. He's really a playmaker in midfield. He's a good dribbler, has nice moves, and hopefully if he's in form, then Algeria's game should be fun to watch. And it's usually the guy that takes the free kicks and the penalties. But he's a nice player to watch, so who knows what he might be able to show the world. Furthermore, up front, they've got a guy called Ghezal, who plays for Siena in Italy, and they've got a guy called Jabur, who plays for AEK Athens in Greece. Not too familiar with those guys, but looking at the teams, there should be decent players. And one guy I do remember is Rafik Saifi, who's also in the squad. He's 35 now, but I remember him. He was a very technically skilled, nice player to watch. Good for him that at the age of 35 he gets to see a World Cup. But he's getting a bit old now, so I don't know if he's going to make much of an impact. But most of the players play in France, some also in Germany, Spain, Italy, England, but always for the smaller teams. And in those smaller teams, they're often not even starters. They're the players who play who are on the bench, or sometimes even in second squad. Some players also play in Algeria, but I'm not too familiar with these players because of this. But like we said, the defense looks pretty solid, and in midfield with Karim Ziani as the main man, who could make an impact. So yeah, well, when you look at what Algeria has been doing lately, they played a few friendlies. Of course, they did well in the African Cup, coming in fourth. They lost to Nigeria in the third place game. Before that, they lost the semi-final against Egypt. So yeah, they did okay. But yeah, in the friendlies, they played a few friendlies lately. They played a friendly in March against Serbia, lost 3-0. Played another friendly at the end of May against Ireland, lost 3-0 as well. So that does tell you something about Algeria, and it's not really looking that good. I mean, Serbia and Ireland are decent teams in Europe, you know, and yeah, losing 3-0 against those teams, yeah, it doesn't really speak very positively of Algeria. They played the last game they played was recently the last week against the United Arab Emirates. They won 1-0 through a penalty. That's not a great team, but okay, they managed to beat them. That was their last game. What does that say? I don't know, but yeah, when you look at Algeria, I think they're probably gonna be a fairly similar team to Tunisia. As in, Tunisia has been in 3 World Cups in a row, and they never really made an impact. They did quite well in Africa, became African champions, but in the World Cup, they couldn't really do anything to hurt the opponents. And Algeria, looking at the 3-0 losses against Ireland and Serbia, losing 4-0 against Egypt at the Africa Cup, they did manage to beat Ivory Coast 3-2 in extra time. That same Africa Cup in January. So yeah, they have had a couple of good results, but generally speaking, I think they're going to have a very hard time getting out of this group with teams like England, the USA, to a lesser degree Slovenia. But yeah, we'll talk about how I think they'll be doing in the actual games later in their final prediction video. Anyway, that's it for my analysis of Algeria. Next up is the last team in Group C, Slovenia. So stay tuned for that. Alright, thank you.